but that doesn't stop any of them. And if you notice, we had that big investigation after the Fauci, when he did that thing back in 2020 where they caught like 5 congressmen doing this and that and the other, and nothing ever happened to any of them.
Folks, the world is literally becoming unhinged. Supply chains are breaking down. The critical shortages are showing up left and right. People can sense that the other shoe is about to drop. They're ordering emergency food like crazy, which means you should too before you can't get any. I'm talking about high quality emergency food you can get from My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's leading preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families. Now they want to help you by giving you $100 off their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it'll be there when you need it. And the meals in this food kit average over 2,000 calories per day, so don't wait. Go to preparewithnatly.com and claim your 3-month emergency food kit while you still can. You'll save $100 per kit if you act now. That's preparewithnatly.com. There continues to be a surge of orders. Make sure yours is one of them. preparewithnatly.com.
Muchachos y muchachas, welcome back to another video. So recently, Nancy Pelosi, she was questioned about her activities as a Congress member. And I think that this is something that we've become keen to watching, the actions of Congress members. They always say, do as I say and not do as I do. And apparently stock trades are, one of those items. And what she's doing is pretty frowned upon. And I kind of wanted to go through the basics of, what we're observing here as a society and why we should be informed about it and how you yourself can actually stick it to the man. So I'm bringing on Bob Kudla from Trade Genius. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Nat. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed. Have you gotten your inflated Christmas gifts for your family this year yet?
What we decided to do is, because my daughter now has graduated and she's working, she just said, hey, Dad, we'd love to go up skiing. So we're taking a ski trip, and that's what we're going to do instead of Christmas presents this year.
That's amazing. Yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good idea. And if you're gonna spend on inflation, you better do it outside of objects, right? Build memories. Yeah. Sounds good. So
shipping containers for that.
Exactly right. We could all get a kayak, buy a kayak together, and go get our Christmas presents that are lingering out in the port. So, okay, Bob. Recently, Nancy Pelosi, she was questioned, I believe today or yesterday, about her insider trading, and this has obviously become a problem. Back in 2012, Barack Obama actually signed what's called the Stock Act. For those who might not know what the Stock Act is, can you fill us in on that?
The Stock Act, look, it was really designed to prevent the politicians are the ultimate insiders because they have a lot of legislation pending in front of them. A lot of them get confidential briefings. A lot of them get classified briefings. So they're supposed to, use best judgment, but they're also shielded from insider trading laws. And so there's a joke going on right now. Elon Musk was named Person of the Year, but Nancy Pelosi was named Trader of the Year. And because she basically has inside information and she acts on it. Uh-huh. And, this person here has made $150,000 to $200,000 a year for as long as she's been in Congress, but she's worth like $50 million or $200 million. And
wow,
how does that happen? It happens because you're given inside information and you act on it. And the problem is that because she makes the laws, there's no way that they're going to stop themselves from having this beautiful, lucrative inside information. She's not the only one, and it's not just the United States. The premier of New Zealand, which makes far less than anybody, she's worth $25 million because of the pandemic. So these guys love to come into Congress, and basically it's a profit-driven machine for them. They're supposed to report their transactions. They're supposed to not act on information unless it's inadvertent, but that doesn't stop any of them. And if you notice, we had that big investigation after the Fauci, when he did that thing back in 2020 where they caught like 5 congressmen doing this and that and the other, and nothing ever happened to any of them. Okay. And now we have 75 Congress people they found, I think it's 70 or 175 that have basically, they own pandemic related companies. So how can they possibly be unbiased if they make their money off of keeping the pandemic going? So this is a problem, and I don't know how it's going to solve, but it just shows the rot that is really happening, inside our country.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to share this article for my viewers to understand. So, we're referring back to Nancy Pelosi. And, this seems to be, Bob, some sort of bipartisan effort to also kind of combat this. Recently, I mean, these are people that are very notable for, very oppositional issues outside of this. But they've come together on this. Senator Elizabeth Warren and AOC, both of them are shunning this act, saying it's absolutely ludicrous that members of Congress can hold the trade individual stock while in office. Now, to give you guys a little bit more insight, Nancy Pelosi's husband is actually the one who's trading. Bob, it says here, Insider has identified numerous types of federal lawmakers trading stocks in industries they oversee as part of their congressional committee assignments, including within defense, healthcare, and energy industries. You mentioned something on the lines of healthcare. What are some other, tactics within the knowledge of defense and energy industries? How does that happen? How do they get that knowledge and know how to trade, according to that?
Okay, so there's a company called Planeteer. It's a publicly traded company. PLTR is the symbol, and they had contracts pending in front of the federal government in terms of if they do surveillance work and stuff like that for the military and for Homeland Security. Well, their Congress people oversee the different branches of the government, in terms of defense and stuff like that. Well, people knew that contract was going to get approved. So people bought Planeteer ahead of that being approved. And then it gets approved, their stock goes up, those guys profit from it. That happens that way. The other thing people have is if you have knowledge ahead of time of what the employment report's going to be. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young, but when Obama and it was Obama. It was Obama and who was his running mate at Biden? But no, this is even before him. This is Clinton Gore. You were way too young. So it's Clinton Gore. So they would get out there and they would talk ahead of time and say, hey, I think the employment report should be pretty good. They're basically signaling to their friends, right, that the employment report is going to be good. So everybody buys in and then the numbers come out. So these guys, they do this all the time. They have ways in which they can signal each other and the way they deal with legislation. And look, and you saw it with 9/11, people were shorting the airline stocks ahead of 9/11. Mm-hmm. And then they did a forensic audit and they found out that out of London, people were shorting it. So people had inside knowledge that this attack was going to happen. So those kind of things happen too. If you knew a war was going to be, or a military action was going to happen, those things get they get insider information. They'll act on it ahead of time. So yeah, and like the Fed too, people knew what the Fed was going to do. And you can see, and you can see ahead of the meeting, people started buying the market right before the Fed announcement today. So yeah, it's a dirty game, and these guys know how to play it. They run it right to the edge of the law. But if you notice, with this administration, is the Department of Justice is toothless. So there's no way that Merrick Garland's going to arrest anybody that's a Democrat on this side, but if a Republican did this stuff, then they're going to get hammered. And so that's why they don't care. Nancy, she doesn't care. What are you going to do to me? Merrick Garland's not going to arrest me. I don't have to worry about anything. Nobody's going to impeach me. So I'm going to just do whatever heck I want.
Right. And they also, on the other side, they can pass legislation based on, this type of knowledge. Is that right? Like they could pass certain things just off of, will this affect the market and, will this benefit me? Yeah. And so we saw earlier this year, Bob, Wall Street Bet, for instance, this was a big example of this, where the little people actually wanted to stick it to the big man. Can we still stick it to the big man? Not through Reddit boards, not through just outside communication where it's third party. With something like your algorithms, for instance, could this be an instance of sticking it to the big man by seeing where to trade in a more honest way?
Yeah. Look, what happens is big money can't move without everybody seeing it.
Right.
And so what you do is, and that was our algorithm is really designed for money flow and trend. So like even today, we knew because we saw the flows coming in that today was going to be a big up day. The market's been falling. Well, the indexes haven't been down that much, but the market's been falling for weeks. And we said there's going to be a relief rally here. We see it. It's hitting our trend levels. It's hitting our buy zones and it's hitting money flow. So, yeah. So we popped it today. I'll if we're recording this, I'll show you how much money I made today on the trade. I'll send it to you after we're done here. And just to show you that it works. And it's a really simple system. And because big money has to leave footprints, so you can actually follow the big money. Don't listen to the news, watch the money flows, and you'll do fine trading. And that's what we do. So, people that want to trade with us, we have that algorithm. We have that indicator. We actually let you have access to it. So you can trade whatever you want to trade. I just happen to be trading SPY, which is the main index. And but you can trade anything. And the money flow system works for any stock or even crypto for that matter. And it also has a range buffer in it too. So it can show you where to buy the dips, when not to FOMO. And FOMO means fear of missing out. Don't take a breakout if it's hitting resistance. You can kind of wait for it to pull back. So we kind of help you in all those areas so that you make better trades. And the trades you make, that you're going to make more money than you ought, what you would do otherwise. So, but if you go to our site, tradelikeagenius.com, we put 7 bundles together for you guys for Christmas. By December 18th, you can take advantage of it. We trade stocks, we trade cryptos. You can trade optioned with us, and you can just pick one of the 7, 65% off, or just use promo code WINTER and take 40% off anything not bundled. And what we give you in that is we give you the indicator. You get access to the chat rooms, so you can talk to me all day. You have access to our training courses that we provide to show you how the system works. And then we put trades out. So we'll tell you what trades that we're thinking about or hitting the system that you ought to consider. And then we kind of give you suggestions on stops and targets so you can follow along on those trades too. So we think it's a pretty complete package and really, really low cost. So we want to make it affordable and have people learn how to do this. And what we teach you is these are skills for life. So once you know how to do this, you're in pretty good shape, and just use the information we provide you to make better decisions.
You always have a job with those skills, right? You always have, no matter where the economy is or how things may look, you'll always have, and it's jab free, right?
Yeah.
You can do it jab free, I'm sure.
Free and suit free.
Exactly. Exactly. And you don't have to kayak out to get your presents or get those types of things. Because I think we're in a time right now or an era where we're actually trying to fight back the system in different facets, if you will, different economies. And this is definitely one of them. If 175 Congress staff, whether it be the members themselves, are able to inside trade and not get fined or not get any sort of reprimandation, people ought to know their rights and know their skill within the market. So, I think that this is a great opportunity. And let me just ask you one more question. What are the fees that these Congress members should be paying? I think I have it here. But there was a deadline, and some of these Congress members did not meet the deadline. Insider investigation of financial disclosures found 49 and then 182 staff that were late in filing their stock trades. Lawmakers and senior congressional staffers who blow past the deadlines established by 2012 Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act are supposed to pay the late fee of $200 for the first time, and then increasingly higher fines if they continue to be late, potentially costing tens of thousands of dollars. This is one of the things that you were talking about that they're not even getting a slap on the wrist about, right?
Yeah, they care less. The $200, you make $100,000 on a trade. Yeah, I'll throw you $200, Nat. No problem. It's like the football player getting fined for a hit and he won the game, right? What is he doing? Yeah, these are a joke. They should be like, you go to jail. Because if you and I did this, Natalie, we'd be in jail.
Right.
We would literally be in jail. So we can't do what they do, and they believe it's a birthright, not a privilege.
Right.
It really makes it sad, but nothing you can do about it. All we can do is live morally and just keep calling them out, and eventually just keep tightening it up. Elizabeth Warren, she does a big game on that, but she makes money other ways. Okay. So, she's just a big scold, and, but she's doing good for herself, put it that way. She's not hurting.
Well, trade morally and trade with lots of insight by Trade Genius. So, guys, I will provide all of the resources and links so that way you can also take advantage of this knowledge. Bob, thank you so much for coming on, delivering that insight and giving us a lot more, just kind of elaborating on the situation. Truly appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think you'll see more of this going into next year. Just remember all the Fed guys sold out in October. That should just tell you all you need to know. So,
yep. We're not surprised, right?
Not at all. Well, Feliz Navidad, and thank you for everything, and enjoy your holidays.
Absolutely. You as well. Guys, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you in the next episode.